Have you ever been awake before sunrise and heard it happen? The world is still dark, the streets are quiet, the sky has not yet begun to glow, and then, from somewhere outside your window, a bird starts singing. A few moments later, another joins in, then another. Before the sun has even appeared, the air is filled with music. Most of us have noticed this at some point. We hear it during an early morning walk, from a campsite, or from the comfort of bed when sleep refuses to come. But the same question always lingers in the background. Why do birds sing before the sun rises? Why begin the day in darkness when there is seemingly nothing to see and no reason to be awake? The answer turns out to be far more fascinating than most people imagine. What sounds like a peaceful morning chorus is actually one of the busiest and most important moments in a bird's entire day. To understand why, it helps to imagine the world through a bird's eyes. For many birds, daylight is precious. Every hour after sunrise is filled with urgent tasks. They need to find food, defend territory, watch for predators, care for nests, and sometimes feed hungry chicks every few minutes. Once the sun is up, life becomes a constant balancing act between survival and opportunity. Before dawn, however, something unusual happens. There is enough light for birds to sense that morning is approaching, but often not enough light to forage efficiently. An insect-eating bird may struggle to spot tiny prey in the darkness. A seed-eating bird may not be able to search the ground effectively. Instead of wasting energy hunting for food they cannot clearly see, many birds use that time for something else. They sing. Researchers have studied this behavior for decades and have found that the period just before sunrise offers ideal conditions for communication. The air is often calmer. Temperatures are lower. Human activity is minimal. Sound travels remarkably well through the still morning atmosphere. Imagine standing in a neighborhood just before dawn. There are no lawnmowers, few cars, and little wind rustling through leaves. A bird's song can travel much farther than it could later in the day when the world becomes noisy. What sounds like a simple melody is actually a message being broadcast across an entire landscape, and it is an important message. For many male songbirds, dawn is the perfect time to announce ownership of territory. The song is essentially a declaration that says this place is occupied. Stay away if you are looking for trouble. A robin perched on a rooftop before sunrise may be doing exactly that. Its song drifts across gardens, fences, and trees, reaching neighboring robins that immediately understand the meaning. No physical fight is necessary. The song itself establishes boundaries, but territory is only part of the story. Dawn is also a time for attracting mates. Birdsong serves as a kind of advertisement. A strong, complex, energetic song can signal health, fitness, and experience. Female birds often pay close attention to these details. Producing long and elaborate songs requires energy and skill. In a sense, the singer is demonstrating that it is healthy enough to spend valuable resources on music. Think about a blackbird singing from the highest branch in a tree while the sky remains dark blue. To us it sounds beautiful. To another bird it may sound like a resume, a performance, and a statement of confidence all at once. The timing matters as much as the song itself. Studies suggest that dawn may be when birds are at their most vocally impressive. After a night's rest, energy reserves can still be relatively high. The morning chorus becomes a daily performance where birds present themselves to rivals and potential mates. Yet there is another layer to this story that makes the dawn chorus even more remarkable. Not all birds begin singing at exactly the same moment. If you listen carefully, there is often an order to the morning concert. Some species consistently start earlier than others. Certain birds begin while the sky is still very dark. Others wait until the horizon brightens. Scientists believe this pattern is linked to differences in vision, behavior, and ecology. Birds with larger eyes may be able to function better in low light and therefore become active sooner. Others may wait until conditions are brighter. What sounds to us like a random collection of songs is actually a carefully staggered sequence involving many species, each following its own biological schedule. And all of this is guided by an internal clock. Like humans, birds possess circadian rhythms. These biological clocks help regulate daily cycles of activity and rest. Changes in light levels trigger hormonal responses that prepare birds for the coming day. Long before sunrise is visible to us, birds are already detecting subtle shifts in the environment. The darkness just before dawn is not truly dark to them. Tiny increases in ambient light can signal that morning is approaching. Their bodies respond accordingly. Hormones change. Activity increases. Singing begins. This is why birds often seem uncannily punctual. Morning after morning they appear to know exactly when to start. There is something almost magical about that. A creature weighing only a few ounces can sense changes in light so subtle that most humans never notice them. As scientists have learned more about birdsong, They have also discovered that the dawn chorus may provide valuable information about bird populations and ecosystem health. Healthy habitats often support rich and diverse morning choruses. In places where habitats are damaged or species decline, the chorus can grow quieter. In a way, the songs we hear before sunrise are not just individual voices. They are signs that an entire ecosystem is waking up and functioning as it should. The robin on the fence, the sparrow in the hedge, the blackbird in the tree. Together they create a living soundtrack that reflects the health of the natural world around us. And perhaps that is one reason people find these sounds so comforting. Even when we do not understand their meaning, we recognize that they belong to something larger than ourselves. They connect us to rhythms that existed long before cities, alarm clocks, and busy schedules. If you enjoy discovering hidden stories like these in the natural world, consider subscribing to Global Wild Origins. Every week we explore the remarkable lives of animals and the surprising behaviors happening all around us. It is wonderful to have you here sharing that curiosity. The next time you hear birds singing before sunrise, you may listen differently. Instead of hearing random notes drifting through the darkness, you might hear a neighborhood of birds announcing territory, searching for mates, and preparing for another day of survival. You might hear ancient biological clocks responding to the first faint hints of morning. You might hear an ecosystem waking up one voice at a time, and perhaps you will remember that moment from the beginning of this story. The one where the world seemed asleep, the sky was still dark, and a single bird broke the silence. It was never singing because the day had arrived, it was singing because it knew the day was coming.